in Studio A.
And we're rolling.
This is Singer to Singer.
Oh my God. Hold on. Where did he...
That's my thing. In the car, I get to be raging rave Jenny.
I'm LaJuan Carter, a professional singer, and today I'm hanging with Jenny Douglas Foote. Jenny has been the go-to singer for some of the biggest tours with some of the biggest artists for decades. Aside from being a fantastic vocalist, she is hilarious and brutally honest. So sit back and enjoy a very frank and funny conversation. When I was walking out the house, I was like, I'm pretty sure whatever I reach into my closet and have will be something that you gave me. And sure enough,
that's too funny.
this is one of my favorite sweaters.
You know, it's funny,
About twice a year, some unexpected package shows up at my doorstep, which usually means Jenny is doing her spring cleaning. Because we're about the same size, I am the fortunate beneficiary of some of her world tour acquisitions, which is stuff she probably hasn't seen since she threw it in her luggage. I'm going to let you chronologically list right now from your first tour to your current tour. Go. I may have time to go to the bathroom while you're doing this. Just
wow. First tour, Melissa Morgan, where I met John James. Well, actually, that's a lie. I didn't meet him there. We were actually working with the local act, Denise Morgan, and we were part of her Screaming Divas. And we were getting like notoriety in the city as people would stop us. You sing with the Screaming Divas? I was like, wow, that's unbelievable that I would get stopped and asked that. But yeah, and then for Melissa, my ex at the time was involved with Nona Hendrix, and her manager / partner sent me on an audition for Mick Jagger.
Okay.
So I did a series of those, and then got it.
So wait, Melissa Morgan, then Mick Jagger was the next one.
Then, no, I lie like a rug.
Here we go.
Okay,
Now
Melissa
might be a
Morgan
good time to get a drinking game going.
Melissa Morgan,
A shot
and
for
then I
every
did
time
Keith
Jenny
Sweat.
thinks she
And in
remembers a
between those
tour,
two, of
but
course,
then
I came
realizes
to
there were
Vegas.
5
So I was
tours in
doing
between the 2 she
Off-Broadway.
just
So
stated.
while I was doing that, of course, that's when I got the Keith Sweat gig. And then I did Keith Sweat's tour, his first tour, which just skyrocketed. And then while I was doing Keith, then I was approached by Vicki Wickham, who was Nona Hendrix's partner, and she was like, I want to send you to audition. And Mick Jagger had a couple of solo albums, and Lisa Fisher was the backing vocalist for him, along with the Stones, but for him as well. And she couldn't do the Down Under tour that he had scheduled because she was on retainer with Luther. And so I did that.
okay.
And then I came home, and then I got a call from some writers, Carl Sturken and Evan Rogers, that they were working with Donny Osmond, and he had a Soldier of Love. That was what Soldier of Love was out. And so I auditioned for that. Well, I didn't really audition. I think I was just recommended, and then I got the gig. I toured with him. And while I was touring with him, his tech knew the Toto guys. He was also tech for Toto. So he recommended me to Toto, sight unseen. They hadn't heard me, seen me. They just took it on his word. And they was like, oh, yeah, and if you know somebody you like to sing with, bring them with you. So I called Jackie McGee, and after
Let's
that...
just recap. We're not even halfway done with this yet. We got Melissa Morgan into Keith Sweat, into Mick Jagger, into Donny Osmond, into, is that where we're at right now? Okay. Go
Toto.
ahead. Into Toto. There we go. Carry on.
Which was an on and off relationship for, what, now 20-odd years?
What happened after that?
Oh, what did happen after that? Oh, John Mellencamp.
Yeah.
Curtis Stigers first, though. So while I was out with him doing the famous red ball that they have at Hollywood Hilton, I got a call that John Mellencamp was looking for backup singers. And my audition was on the Arsenio Hall show. Yeah, they auditioned more girls, but then he kind of smirked and said, I thought we got the girl already, you know. But then after I did that tour, I was out with Toto again, in and out. I was always in and out with Toto.
So that was only just one tour with John Cougar Mellencamp?
Yes.
I know that's
I'm a little legendary in that camp, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to let that go. I'm going to because...
I used to be. I don't know how many old members are still in the band, but trust me, I definitely left my mark in that camp.
All right, so back to your tour. So you then get offered Joe Cocker, but you don't take it, you said?
Oh, I took it. I grew up with rock and roll, and I started that gig not well. vocally. And then we rehearsed in a hangar, like a TV hangar, and every day they would use this smoke because they were trying to see what the lights were like. And nobody was considering what the damage was on anybody's vocal cords. They're not going to be able to tell from Joe.
Yeah, right.
Because that's how he sounds. so it was, but by the time the tour started, it really had messed with me. And plus I was trying to be me and be young and, and hang and everything with the, out drinking and whatever. And singing hard, that's a hard gig. That's a straight full throttle gig. Most of what he has is like, old school full throttle gospel.
Yeah, gospel belts, yeah.
Exactly. So I started to lose notes at the end of that run, and then I came home, literally came home. Oh, I forgot Taylor Dane. So I was working with Taylor Dane in between all that too. Because the reason why I digress.
Keeping score at home?
I wish, and I'm losing. I'm failing miserably. But I came home and Taylor's doctor I went to, her vocal doctor I went to in Long Island, actually flew home.
Wow.
And went straight to him. Didn't even go home from Kennedy. From Kennedy straight to his place in Long Island.
Wow.
It was a retention cyst. Ooh. So it was like about to be a nodule. It was like the beginning of one, the birth of one. He sent me to a vocal therapist, and she asked me 3 easy questions. Do you shout when you talk? And I was like, yeah. Are you loud when you talk? I was like, yeah. She said, are your friends loud? I was like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, thought about it, and it didn't take but a second. I was like, I'm loud all the time.
Yeah.
And it was scary because that's the first time I was unable to sing. And then, of course, here I am in this recovery, and I get a call from Toto. Now they want to make me a member of the band.
Wow.
And they were putting out the album Tamboo, and they wanted me to come out to do the album.
So this would have been the first time you actually recorded for Toto?
Not the first time I recorded. We did some more records with them prior to that.
Okay.
Me and Jackie did backup on a couple of tracks for the album before this one, before Tamboo. Yeah, I recorded with them before, but I was never offered to be a member. And what I didn't know was there was a conflict between the 2 managers. One was like, yeah, make her a member. And I was like, I'm not too sure about that. And
what do you think the thinking was behind that?
It was a boy group, and that's what they were known for. But
I'm saying, why do you think they wanted you to become a part of the band? Was it maybe for security of you not going out with other gigs?
Oh, I don't think it was that deep. No, hell no. I don't think, really? I wouldn't, that's a stretch. No, that's a theory, and that would be like, that would definitely be a theory.
Well, it just seems interesting, like after all these years, why?
I think that they were just trying to make something work, and they felt like it worked with what I was bringing to the table with them. Because basically, I would get to hold the line at the end of the show. And they saw the reaction of the crowd.
Wow.
And I guess they felt like, hey, this is something that we don't gather. I mean, I could get the audience go, this side do this side do that. And they were like, look at her take over. It's like, I only got one song. I'm trying to work it, dude. But those are my brothers from another mother, and we're really closer in age than I even thought we were. So we took promo pictures, and I did the album, and John James was involved in it. And then right when it was time for the album to drop, the other manager was like, he wasn't comfortable with it.
Kill the project.
Well, kill that part of it. I'm still a part of the equation. But,
But
so that gave me a whole nother perspective because I matured from that, I think. Yeah. So then between that, I did Joey McIntyre.
Oh, man. Did I do that with you? I did Regis and Kathy Lee backing up Joey Mac. It was a big choir. I can't remember.
Was that with them? Very, very talented guy.
And a sweetheart. I remember him being really sweet.
Really,
really nice.
He had a house in Boston. He doesn't have it anymore, and he wasn't married at the time, and he is now. But he had this house in Boston from the back in the day from the group.
Right.
And he said, "Look at that. I have an Underground Railroad section in my house." I'm like, "What?" And so he takes me into a study, and I go into the study, and there's this closet. He opens the closet door, and I swear the closet is just maybe 12 inches deep. So I'm like, this can't be the way into it. He takes the floor out of it. These steep stairs, and underneath was like, since people have used the house, he says, make a wine cellar out of it or whatever. But there was a whole it was like a snake-like thing down there. Like you could go.
So
down
you
there.
went down?
I went down.
Oh my goodness!
Hell yeah, I went down. I was like, I want to see this. So after doing
Shout out to
that,
Berkeley.
and then
All right, go ahead.
and I think Cher was in there somewhere. But then I also did summers with Patty Austin for a few years.
My Patty Austin story that's for another day. That's a good one. I'm gonna
Patty
say that.
was the best.
No, she was great. All right, should I tell it now since we're talking about Patty?
Yeah.
Real quick? All right, because I don't want to.
Tell it. I
Here's
need
my
to hear
Patty
it.
Austin story. So I'd done about 3 or 4 gigs with Patty. Now, I don't fangirl much. I fangirled over Patty Austin because I studied Patty Austin.
Look, dude.
From the dude.
No.
to
What you understand
off
is
the
Patty is
wall.
the University of vocal.
Yes, I met her years before I ever sang with her. I met her. I think it was she in Harlem Nights or the Cotton Club? One of those movies she was in, and I was in a rehearsal studio. She was there, and I was studying with this woman, Joyce Brown, who was sort of a famous vocal coachy person in New York. And she knew Joyce because Joyce was working on the movie, and so she's like, "Oh, I want to meet Patty," and I was just like, every home should have one. Don't let me get me started, right? So fast forward. I guess me and another iteration take over what you and Vivian were doing.
And Kim.
And Kim.
And then-
We had done 3 or 4 gigs. Beautiful. I loved it. It was a challenging gig, and
It is.
I loved it. So I think we're in North Carolina. And she starts telling the story. She's a great storyteller.
No, I studied her. Like, you understand.
Great
She is the
storyteller.
University of vocalists and
Great impersonator.
Banter.
Yes,
Her and
and-
Cher.
Yes.
The two
so
of them.
she gets up, she's talking about, some of you guys may know this. There was a very famous George Benson record, and there's sort of this riff that happens in the middle of the song that I sort of got a little acclaim for because it became a major part of the record. There's a song called Gimme the Night. And she turns, she goes, "LaJuan, show him how it's done." She had never turned to me. It's like 2,000 people. I felt like the spotlight was dead on me.
What?
And no.
What part is she talking about? What riff is she talking about? Oh.
Okay, so
Really?
So here's the thing. No, Jenny, I kid you not. She says, "LaJuan, show him how it's done." I became so panicked about hitting the notes perfectly because it's not the easiest riff. And no, even though I'd studied the chick, you'd think I would know it by heart. But so I half-timed it. I go, and she turns back to the audience. She goes, "Something like that." And I was like, whoa.
Just imagine that a little faster.
Hold on.
Really?
And I swear to you, I kid you not, I'm pretty sure that was my last gig with her.
Shut up already.
I know. I'm
Let me
like-
tell you, we
but it was so worth it.
pissed
It was
Patty off
still-
one time, and I was with Vivian and freaking Kim. I'm gonna tell this story. I was with Vivian and Kim, and I was always coming from some other gig to jump on that gig. So they were already there, and I finally get there. They're like, "Oh, hey, Jenny's here," and Patty was after me, but she was like, "Sound check," and nobody wanted to go to sound check. I was like, "We should go to sound check." I don't need to go to sound check. I was like, "We should go to sound check." We don't need to go to sound check. So they didn't go to sound check. I got vetoed. We had to ride with Patty to the gig. That hussy wouldn't even open the door. She was T.O''d.
She is hot.
She wouldn't open the door. And now I'm like, anywho,
yeah,
that
was
was
deep.
interesting.
All right.
But then there are these stories where, she can tell these stories. She can deliver like nobody's business. Her precision is ridiculous.
This is
And the gig is just vocally challenging.
It's so much
You have to
fun,
be on
though.
it, and when you own it, it's on. So it was us and Gordon Dukes at first. It was Gordon, me, Vivian, and then Gordon missed a gig that went to Hawaii, and Kim had come and done a few gigs, but it was always Gordon. If I wasn't there, Kim would be there, or if Vivian wasn't there, she would be there. But this was the 3 of us, and it was a private gig for Louis Vuitton. Those cheap bastards didn't give us a keychain, not even a damn keychain. Anywho, we did this gig, and at one point she turned around and said, "These 3 right here," and that was it. That was it.
Well, that may have been it for the Patty gig, but that's not it for my conversation with Jenny. I don't know what made me think I could squeeze a life like hers into 15 minutes, so stick around for part 2 of my conversation with Jenny Douglas Foote. Singer to Singer is created and produced by yours truly, LaJuan Carter, with assistant producer Dana Harris. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like and subscribe and go to singer2singer.com. That's singer2singer.com for upcoming interviews and more information on Singer to Singer projects. Ooh.